Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing something kind of unique. We're going to be extracting DNA from a strawberry. The reason we're going to be doing this today is to fulfill the lab project. The kind of interesting science behind it is that when you break down the strawberry and you smash it up and you do all the steps which I will be showing you, it will cause the strawberry to break down this, and then you'll have soap and everything else mixed in there. And what that will do is it will cause all the cell membranes to be broken down, forcing out the DNA, which will then be floated to the top of some isopropyl alcohol. And this works because the DNA is not going to be able to be diluted or be able to meld with the isopropyl alcohol. So the first step we're going to do, we're going to get a Ziploc bag, throw a few strawberries in here, and then I'm just going to mash it up really quick with nothing on camera. Alright, we now have the strawberry juice all mixed up. Just do this by crushing some strawberries. It's not that hard. You'll get this like interesting mixture. It'll kind of look, on the camera kind of looks like blood, but it is not blood. What you do next is pretty simple. Open the bag. You get about a third cup of water. You get a little bit of dish soap. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. And then you mix these together using some kind of stirring rod. Once this is all stirred up, you're going to grab some salt. Doesn't matter what kind of salt it is. Throw a little bit in there, not a whole lot. Once this is all stirred well and mixed up, you can then pour some of it into here. You don't want to pour all of it. About that much should do. And then what you do again is you just start mixing it up for about a minute, let it all get synced in, let the soap start breaking it down, and as soon as I'm done mixing it all up, I'll be back. Alright, we have this all mixed up, the solution's all in there. You can kind of see some foam forming at the top. When the foam starts to form in a pretty decent amount, you know you're good. You can also tell you're good because before I started, there was not this much air in here, but now there is. So, the next step that we're going to be doing is, let me rinse this guy out real quick, is we're going to take a cloth of some kind. Normally you want to use cheesecloth, but as I don't have any and was unable to find anywhere who sold me some, I'm just going to be using microfiber towel, as that will kind of perform the same thing here. What we're going to do, we're going to take this, pour it over into the cloth, and we're doing this because we want to filter out all the extra chunks from the parts of the cells that were broken down in the strawberry, and we're just going to kind of let this drain out. We can kind of squeeze it to help it along. It will be a little messy, but when we're done, there will be juices in here, and what we'll do is we'll be able to extract the DNA, which will be very important, as that is the whole purpose of this. And the interesting thing about why we're doing the DNA extraction is for the sole fact that DNA can be found in anything that is living, or most things that are living, unless you're like a single-celled organism, but those are not very common in larger systems like the strawberry. Now, for the next part, we're going to get some chilled, this is the wrong one. We're going to get some chilled isopropyl alcohol, something that's been sitting in the freezer for a little while, because you want it nice and cold so it doesn't just mix right away. What we're going to do is we're going to take the strawberry juice, see how there's very little foam in here, thankfully, from the us squeezing out, and we're just going to pour this cold alcohol on top without letting it mix. Alright. Within a couple minutes, we will be able to see some DNA start to be extracted. Now, we won't see anything for a few minutes, so I'm not going to bother you guys with making you wait. So we'll come back in like 10-ish minutes. But what I want to do is explain this. So DNA, as we discussed in class, is going to be the foundations of every single living organism that is multicellular. So as humans, we have DNA, strawberries have DNA, bananas, carrots, potatoes, whatever it is, all have some sort of DNA. Now, the interesting fact is it's so tiny that we won't be able to see its individual parts unless we have a really powerful microscope. And since we are unable to do that here, we're just going to be looking at the strings of it when all the strawberries release their DNA. It's going to be kind of like a stringy substance, which you'll see here in just a moment. And we'll be back in, I'll say about 10 minutes. I'm not going to make you guys watch. Unfortunately, I don't have a great way to do a time lapse here, so we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to wait for it. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes. Just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a preview of what's going on. We're still going to wait a little bit longer, but as we can see from here, you see all the white particles floating here at the top here. Those are all DNA strands which are being extruded from the strawberries. In about another 5-ish minutes, I'll come back and we will take a look at it some more just to see what's going on. Alright, so I think we have hit enough time, so I will begin to extract it. So we're just going to get a stirring rod, or in this case a chopstick, whatever you want, whatever you have on hand. And we're just going to take this. It's going to be kind of hard for me to show you on camera, but we're just going to take this and kind of rub the surface along. And what we'll do is we'll get this. This clear substance here is going to be the strawberry's DNA. It is edible, though I probably won't eat it because it's got rubbing alcohol in it and probably won't taste very good. But this little clump here is going to be all the DNA, or some of the DNA, from the several strawberries that we have mashed together. And that's kind of about it, in all honesty. It's pretty interesting, got some cool things, really easy to do at home. Just strawberries, resealable bag, Dawn dish soap is what I used. Your isopropyl alcohol, the stronger the better, the more it'll kind of break down and less likely it is for the strawberry to mix in. And then just a little bit of salt. And then you just mix all together. Just follow the same steps that I did, and it will be pretty easy to do. I appreciate y'all watching, and good luck with your own studies. Alright guys, so I'm just going to add this little bit in here. After doing the strawberry project, I realized I didn't quite do a great explanation of what the science is behind the strawberry being broken down. So I would just like to cover that real quick. The interesting thing about the strawberries is that the reason we're doing this, as I mentioned earlier, is for this project. And the reason I'm doing this specific topic is due to the fact that I want to be able to show you the DNA of a strawberry, which will also be found in, as I said earlier, every single living thing. So my dog right here who's sitting on my toes is going to have DNA. My dog who's barking in the background is going to also have some kind of DNA. And this is just very interesting as we are learning in class about how the cells work and how our body is made up from the use of different cells, and how each cell it comes from, the fact that its DNA is going to be slightly different. So the reason this project was able to work is that the soap would break down the phospholipid biolators of all the cells, which would cause the nucleus to be exposed. The salt will deionize all the everything in there, so prevent it from just sticking together and to allow it to be released. The alcohol will go in and kind of bring up the DNA of the strawberry due to the fact that the alcohol is technically less dense, so therefore it floats at the top layer of the strawberry mixture that we made. And since the DNA is even lighter than that, it will float to the surface, and because they don't homogenize well, they will be separated, so you can easily grab them up with the stirring rod that I showed you. So that all together is very interesting. I believe that is mostly it. If you have any questions, please leave them down, and I will be happy to respond to you. Thank you.